What's up, everybody?
Howdy.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
So, in honor of an amazing show / anime that JD happens to be a fan of that is on Netflix for the cartoon, but the live action is coming out.
Just went up.
Yep.
Just went up.
What are we talking about today, man?
The Cowboy Bebop TTRPG.
Yeah, let's call it like the unofficial Cowboy Bebop.
Well, it's the unofficial. It's called Orbital Blues.
Yeah.
Setting, it's the 60s, 70s. Same thing, though. Still hyper-capitalism and everything's too big and too spread out, so the government can't really police anything except for their own little things, and the corporations have their own little armies, and the outlaws are the players and cool guys.
Space Western.
Space Western.
Space Western.
Space Western.
Firefly. Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. I like that one more. Other one, that's a different topic.
All right, so the setting. I made the joke earlier. It was like it's in the past, right? But it's in the future.
Yeah, kind of.
super
much.
weird. The weird Fallout dichotomy thing.
Yeah.
How is the dice rolling this? How simple is it?
It's very. It's a 3-stat system. One gets +2, +1, and then one that has a base of 0.
Yep.
Combat is a 3 dice pool system. Skill checks are 2 dice pool.
Mm-hmm.
Roll the dice, add them together, add your stat to them. If they're an 8 or above, you succeed.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's worth mentioning it's a 3-point stat block, and for the lack of a better word, just for simplicity, you have your strength. Anything that's gonna be like in physical opposing. The grit is the tenacity.
Yes. And then the last one is your savvy.
Savvy is the agility.
Yes.
Grit is the tenacity.
Yes.
And
your muscle.
And the muscles, basically. Yeah. And I think it is called muscles, isn't it?
Yes. Yes. Then you have a couple other stats. You have heart, which is their HP system. Max you can get at any one time, I believe, is 11 if you have a 3 in muscles. Also blues, and then the troubles. Blues and troubles are... I'm gonna let you, because you kind of picked up on this and pointed it out, so...
Oh, you're talking about the weird thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we spent the
cool.
better part of a 20-minute conversation with something that I thought was weird, because what is any type of Western without any kind of drama or sadness, right?
Yeah. They killed my Paul.
Exactly. Or Cousin Jim or Bob.
Or my bride. Or
yeah,
my buddy.
Death is going to ensue, and there's always sadness and copious amounts of alcohol. But there's this weird thing that I was like, I don't get how death doesn't feel like it's not impactful. So we had this conversation. I was like, this doesn't feel right. Lo and behold, there's an update to the book.
Yep.
That completely threw our 40-minute conversation right out the window.
So your troubles are kind of your centerpiece. They tie into your blues and then also tie into your gamuts, which are your perks or your combat amplifier kind of things. Get to those in a minute. But what it does is you start with 1 and then you build them as you go. You will build up your blues the same way that you would build up your crack and fade in City of Mist. Mm-hmm. It's very much the same kind of system. There's
very similar parallels that we have seen as far as the way this game kind of plays, where you're filling up your thing to get this, to go back in here to get more of these, to make yourself stronger. Even to an extent, the dice rolls themselves. I get that this is kind of like a fate system, whereas I guess City of Mist is PBTA hodgepodge fate. But the mechanics, if you're a fan of the traditional dice pool, this is a very, very easy game to learn.
It's a very boiled down, very quick, very easy game to learn as far as the dice pool and the mechanics and even the blues and the troubles and the gambits and all of that. It's not hard to pick up on at all. The one thing that stands this apart really far for me is how prevalent they make death.
So I'll let you talk about the death thing. One of the things that I actually think is really, really dope in this game, for me personally, is the swan song. You can basically be in a situation where you're on the down and out, and you've got for the lack of a better cliche, I'm going to fall on this grenade and I'm going to sacrifice myself. But you go down in that cliche action hero, I'm going to give it all I got. I'm going to just completely destroy everything that's going on in this scene. But at the end, I'm going to die. But I'm fine with it. But I'm going to take you with me. That's hella dope.
It's really, really cool.
It's that scene with the Marlboro Man from Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
I got one more ride in me.
I got one last ride left in me.
Death being prevalent in this, every time that you have more troubles, you're more likely to die. It gets to the point to where once you have enough troubles, you're essentially dead no matter what if you go down. If things go sideways, your story's over, because that's the way that Western goes.
I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy. Don't judge me.
Yeah, I'm not
And that makes a lot of sense, right? Like the more, I guess, emotionally distraught and burnt out, your body kind of wears down over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. It's a really good thing.
One other thing that this game does with death that's a little bit interesting to me is if somebody takes a hit and goes down, if you're nearby, you have a option to dive in front of it and take the hit instead. It's risky. You're going to take double damage, and there's a chance that you could go down instead.
But if you don't do it, you get blues, which in a weird way can
Helps
also benefit you.
Right. So if you don't do it, because this is a bleak, futuristic, Western space game, if you don't do it, you get a point of blues because you had the chance to dive in front of your partner and take
It's
the
the
hit
living in
and
the
didn't.
past. I wish I could have, wish I should have.
Yep. Which they,
Regret.
one of the
And that's a big
options for
thing.
the troubles is the DM, the guide. That person has the option to say, hey, that they were an important crewmate. You've been with them a long time. Everybody at the table gets a trouble about
Full
this.
disclosure, this is what I was talking about
This
earlier.
was the 40-minute conversation.
Yeah, because I'm like, why doesn't it have the option to say, you know what, you all should deal with this. That was your friend. But it was added in the update.
Right.
Some notable things that are really cool about this too. We're not going to go into too much detail because I think it could basically be its own video. There is ship-to-ship combat in it. It's very simple. Your ship has its own stat block and stuff like that too.
It works the exact same way an NPC stat block works or anything else. The on-foot bad guys and the ship bad guys both have the same stat block, which makes making NPCs and making your own enemies and that kind of stuff from the other side of the table just graphics kiss. It's something every game should make that simple.
It's really, really nice. I like it. And I like that the book also goes into a small blurb about how, like, if you're in ship-to-ship combat, like, you're in the age of piracy and all that stuff.
Yes.
Like, most ships combat / maybe all of them are not going to go down to a ship being completely destroyed.
Right.
Because you want to go and get the supplies
You
and
want to get the
everything
supplies.
like that.
You want to take hostages. You're not going to kill the whole crew. You're going to take them prisoner. Or go get the bounty or turn them into this corporation because everybody's got a price on their head from somewhere.
Exactly.
There's no real murder hobo in this.
But in a way, everybody's a murder hobo, just on the ground?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Ships are too valuable.
That's what it is, because the whole precipice of this game is live, survive, get money, continue to survive.
And ships are one of the most valuable things.
Yeah. So that's going to wrap this one up.
Yeah, that's Orbital Blues in a nutshell.
If you want to talk to us, Discords.
Yeah, we have anime channels. We talk about video games. We play Destiny with people who want to play all kinds of stuff.
And December's a big month for that.
Yeah, big update coming for Destiny. Spotify and that kind of podcast stuff down below too.
And then that wraps it up. So stay awesome, be excellent.
We'll see you, Space Cowboy.
Peace.